All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the ESL One Cologne 2017 closed qualifiers. Jumping into our next matchup here, it's our second semifinal. You saw Misfits take on an opponent earlier and beat them relatively easily. Well, now they're going to have to go up against Liquid, and things probably aren't going to be that easy. We are going to start off on Overpass once again, and still joining me here is Bach. Bach, how you hanging in there?
I mean, I'm doing pretty good. I'm kind of interested to see how this one plays out. The map pool is kind of on par with what we thought, but a little bit different as well. Go figure. Game starts and we got to pause. Please tell me there's not some sort of issue right off the bat. Looks like there is. Elijah's left.
He's straight up disconnected though, so it's probably like a config issue or something. Yeah, he's already back in.
So
fast PCs they got.
Yeah. Should be just a matter of time here. So anyway, looking at the maps, I kind of thought that we would see Misfits veto Cobble, but instead they let it through. So Liquid's going to get a really good map for them compared to Misfits. So if Misfits are going to take this series, it's going to have to start here. It's going to have to be a 2-1. There's really no way I see this being a 2-0, just because of how good Liquid is historically on Cobble. And obviously, Twists has a little bit of an idea as to what Misfits likes to do, given that he is a former member of the squad. The setup right now from Liquid allows pretty much free entry into the B site as they're playing more of a retake with Nitro and JDM crossfiring back by Graffiti and Construction. But into the site they go, and they're just going to continue this aggression once they get the site under their control. Nitro's going to line up the first one, but there's a 1-2 punch for Shazam and Devo Duvek as Nitro and Elige both meet their end. Stanislaw will drop as well, and this round is falling by the way of Misfits as it's down to just JDM and Twist trying to make something happen here. JDM with a good angle onto Shazam. He's trying, suffering, having a difficult time. Sean Gares is finally going to charge forward, but it's actually JDM to win that fight. Again, Twist picks up one, so it's spun back around. Twist is now in the site. The bomb is planted for Shazam, though, and there's no kit, so Twist has to find this kill fast, and all that Shazam has to do is play games. Twist knows it, tries to charge towards him. Not going to happen today. And a spray from Shazam in celebration as Misfits win the pistol.
And they will push forward with that early advantage, of course, but Liquid probably aren't going to take that one sitting down. We can expect the aggressive rebuy to come in right now from them. We'll see that hopefully in a second. We'll see. Sometimes a lot of NA teams have actually been taking it a bit lighter, though, just because it gives them that extra utility into the first round. So that actually seems like it's going to be the option Liquid opt to go for instead. This is like that new trend. But this is like really light. In fact, JDM, Stan, and Twist don't buy at all. It's just Nitro and Elige that go for pickups here.
Shazam and Sean Gares moving forward, flash around the corner in just a second. Elige is close, completely blinded. Had a second there to try and take a shot, but he couldn't see a thing. Twist from distance, he's not getting anything going either. Shazam looked really good in that first series today, and he continues in that path as he's now got 2 kills in the round as well. It was just an eco coming in from Team Liquid and another one likely to follow unless they wanted to go crazy. There's like 1 or 2 lower level teams I've seen where they save full in the second and they full ump by and FAMAS here, and there it is. This is a rare thing that teams do, but it's one of those gambles where you're like, okay, they're probably still on umps. The problem with Liquid is that you wanted to at least take 1 or 2 guns out of their hands in the previous round so you could actually make this one hurt more, because they didn't have to spend really anything to come into this one.
Well, now for the Misfits here. You can see them trying to hold back. Shazam even going to get that first kill against Elige, despite their more passive presence across the map here. This is going to swing JDM closer to the A bomb site. And for Stanislaw, he'll also be available to try and help out with this situation. The Misfits, though, aren't necessarily in a huge hurry. They are just slowly kind of taking control leading up to short A. Starting off with the connector itself. Sean will leap out, take that control. And they will kind of just spread their wings around the map right now. The Elige already going down, though. It's going to cause a weird split on the Team Liquid side of things. But at the moment, they're gambling on the right site. They did decide to just leave Nitro solo down here on B. There's a good reason behind that, though. Just because they've already met some combat closer towards A, and they don't really know what's going on short A. So they might as well try and bulk up the defenses here and see if they can hold on, since they invested so heavily into this third round and have gone for the early investment.
So the problem with doing something like this is that this is a traditionally CT-sided map. You're giving up a lot of room very early on to a T-side by doing this if you don't make it work. JDM tries to bring it back to their favor with a nice shot from the scout. Nitro, ouch, clotheslined by Devo Duvek. And at this point, you got to save. Can't even force this. Twist is still in position. JDM's trying to come back and help, but with the smokes down, the utility the T-side has, there is no reason to go for this. And Twist has already made the call, as says JDM. Even Stan is like, yeah, guys, I'm just going to hang back and try and exit. as this retake is going to be almost impossible. Still, though, they seem to be committed to it. It looked like they were full deady on the save. JDM is hanging around in heaven. He's probably going to lose the scout if he's not careful. Nice shot, though, onto Amanek. So at least they're making it count to a certain degree by taking some guns out of play. But now you can finally see them kind of succumbing to the reality of the save. The rest of the players have given up. JDM was really the only one who was hanging back by the site.
Yeah, now this leaves it into a pretty dire situation here where Team Liquid is definitely going to be dropping the round. Thankfully, with these 3 saves, though, they're not going to be completely inept going into the 4th round here. Obviously, Nitro and Elise are probably not going to be looking too well off. They could actually drop rifles for them if they want to sacrifice utility. We'll find this out in a second, how exactly they want to try to play this. But they could either just rebuy their utility and then just have Nitro and Elise on pretty light buys, or they could try to force into it again. But it is looking like they're taking the lighter of the 2 options, just keeping what they've saved, and then not even really buying into the utility for those that did manage to save, but just going for the pistol upgrades on Nitro and Elise off of their own banks. So pretty light buys. They do need to look to the future and not let Misfits kind of run away on these weird like half buys when they're working with bosses and whatnot.
So the gamble doesn't really work out. It's unfortunate. I would have loved to see it because it's an interesting roll of the dice if you're Liquid. And it's really not a terrible idea, given that Misfits, you knew they had 3 umps. So you knew, like, okay, our firepower against theirs is really not that bad. But it's so risky early on to give a T-side that much control. Economically speaking, they didn't really take too much damage in that round either. So we'll see what Liquid's going to do moving forward, because they've got to be careful. Nice pop flash in, but somehow Twist doesn't get spotted. Sick's going to get the kill on Nitro. Twist is still on catwalk, tapping away, does more damage to Sick as well. Stanislaw finishing him off. So just like that, it goes towards Liquid's side. 3-on-2 advantage. The bomb is down in water. Luckily for them, Shazam is still at the top of Connector, and Elise is looking the other direction, focusing more on water. However, these 2 players have no communication. Amanek has no cover from behind the door. Shazam finally comes down and avenges his death, and it will be a 1 versus 2. Bomb is in his control, so he can get it and potentially work towards A, but he has no idea where the remaining 2 players for Liquid are.
Yeah, he's going to have to basically play this one on a whim here. And moving out, he'll find his first battle against Stanislaw. Oh, what? Okay.
Did JDM just jump out of heaven and die?
I think he just jumped out of heaven. And, dude, imagine if Shazam killed Stan right there.
I want to watch back. I want to watch back the VODs just to see if I can see him on X-ray, because I was watching Shazam.
I think he jumped out of heaven. That's like the only explanation, unless he naded himself.
He didn't. He had a flash. He didn't even have a nade.
Yeah. Okay. So he had to have jumped out of heaven then.
So imagine now.
Hilarious.
Imagine that Shazam comes down Connector earlier, and Elise doesn't get that kill on Amanek. All of a sudden, that's a 2-on-1. I'm just watching the replay. You know what? I think Shazam hit him with something. I don't know. I'm really confused. What did Shazam throw? Did he throw a molly? I'm trying to watch back, but I'm on low quality, so I didn't see. I think he threw a molly and he tried to run and he died.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now that makes so much more sense. Oh, I'm like so confused the whole time. I'm like, why did he jump? Now that I'm watching, I saw him throw a nade, but I couldn't tell what it was, and he got an assist. So I can only assume. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm about to keep watching it over and over again so I can see.
That's one for the demo. We need a clip of that one. Well, looking like Misfits just going to take it nice and slow in this round. They do have the buy. Flight comes in from Elise, but Amanek just barely saves that one from being a disaster. Good reflexes here from Amanek so far. Getting that spray at the beginning and then reacting to that one. That could have been 2, possibly 3 kills from Elise if that one unchecked. So, nicely played. Now that they get site control, well, Team Liquid is going to try their best to rotate it as they do have JDM on a flank. And Stanislaw opens it up, pushing back in, eliminates Stevo Duvek. JDM also fighting himself, his opponent back over here. It's going to be Sean facing off against him, but the problem is he gives Sean plenty of time to get behind coverage and avoid JDM. So they know this flank is alive now. Amanek takes the duel, claims his 3rd kill on the round. He's on the cusp of an ace if things continue to get out of hand like this. Now Twist and Stan trying to push their way back into the site. They do overpower Amanek. Sean Garrett's next up, but he trades 1 kill and then Sick moves in for the last one. Misfits reclaim their advantage and reset the losing bonus for Liquid.
I'm told it was a smoke, not a molly. So I had it on like super potato quality. All I saw was his hand move, and I couldn't see what came out of it because it flicked away so fast. So I don't know what happened with JDM. I really have no clue. But I don't know. He still got an assist.
Can you take
That's
that
what
much
threw me
damage?
off.
Jumping out of heaven. He had like 24 HP.
I guess. I don't know. Again, it'll have to be one of those ones where we like pull up the demo. I'm like gonna watch the VOD after this map's over just to see exactly what happened, so I can get an appreciation for whatever the hell just occurred, because it was blowing my mind. Misfits though, they're off to a a pretty good start here, resetting Team Liquid, putting them back down to pistols yet again. Team Liquid take that roll of the dice early, didn't work, but they ended up bringing it back in the next round, but it cost them so much, coming down to just one player, losing JDM on the fall from heaven that we've been talking about way longer than we probably should be talking about it. It will be rifles here for Misfits, though, and an ump in play as well for Sean Garris. Shazam holding his trusty op, the big green cannon, as he flashes. Nope, not going to be a flash into the playground. Sick doesn't get the assist from Shazam to move into that area, but there's no one pushed up aggressively anyway. They're actually all focusing on B, with the one exception being a Liege. He's the man with the ump working in from bank right now, trying to hold this A side if he can. There they come in through the door, though. The CZ75 from Twist proves unsuccessful after JDM falls. He'll fall back, and that's going to urge a push towards the A bomb site.
Well, now leaving things in a more even battle here. Misfits are going to try to push their way onto the site. Unfortunately, from Team Liquid, they are going to be outmatched a little bit here. Sean just hopping around with the UMP, taking battles left and right. He eliminates Liege and Stanislaw back-to-back. Well, actually, only finds a second kill, but he does take the battle on the first one and distracts, and his teammate can get the kill. It is down to Nitro and Twist, both of which are up here at the site, but unfortunately, with only CZs and one single flashbang sitting on Twist, they are not really going to have the capability to re-entry here. It looks like they're just going to try to go for it. There's really no huge benefit to saving here. They might as well try to get a few kills, and we'll find one there. A one-for-one trade out. Now it's just down on Nitro, hiding out over here by the bank. And trying to hold inside of the corner so the T's can push into him. They're going to find him, though. Devaduvic does not want to try to challenge that close up, however, so he does halt himself, and it works out perfectly. They prevent the second unnecessary death, and Shazam will eliminate Nitro.
Good start for Misfits on Overpass, kind of what we expected. Decent team on Overpass compared to Liquid, but still plenty of opportunities for Liquid to bring this one back. The problem is Misfits have already hit 5 rounds, so that's kind of like the standard scoreline. This is exactly like our last series on Overpass. The T-sides just were really successful on their map selections, but ultimately when they switched over, that was when they hit more of a wall. We'll see if that's going to be the case here for Misfits. Not much of a wall erected in front of them as of yet, as Team Liquid is working with just pistols yet again. Back down to next to no money. Do that full reset that came their way. We've got one player posted up and watching the push for Fountain. That'll be Sick, who unloads with the AK, gets 3 as well, drops a molly in the path, so he doesn't have to worry about the push coming in from Stanislaw, and he has time for the reload now as well. Stan's going to get dropped by Devaduvic, who comes in for the support kill, and now JDM is all that stands in front of them. It's a 6th round for Misfits, and an easy one at that.
And nice control being maintained there by Sick as well. Everyone from Team Liquid just tries to throw themselves over here towards the playground in hopes of getting a few kills. They don't get a single one, so it's great for the money build up here on Misfits, with Liquid kind of throwing that save round away. They try their best to pick up kills, but the strat just doesn't really align too well with the way that Misfits try to throw their own players. So now they're looking at decent money for pretty much 4 to 5 of their own guys. Liquid coming back into the buy, though, has the potential to reduce that down. And of course, we have seen things like Twists, JDM coming into the fold every once in a while, but for the most part, a lot of these guys have been flatlining. But JDM, he's going to come right back into the picture now. Gets aggressive out past the sandbags. And oh, Amanek, nicely done. I think that's through that spam spot again. He finds JDM and prevents him from retreating into the site.
So it's a 4-on-4 right now, and Misfits still have the bomb towards the back end. Haven't decided where they're going to go, but it does appear to be B right now. Still have flex play. That's the beauty of Overpass. Stanislaw will be there to try and prevent that from being a possibility, as he's at the top of connector staring down the stairs, and he's also got Elige pushed up towards Party watching playground. So right now the setup for Liquid is very good if Misfits were to rededicate and try to go towards the direction of the A site. Still a minute left on the clock, so a lot can happen. Misfits just feeling things out right now. Gotta be leery of those guys who have pushed up on A. Shazam now falling back towards B. It does look like that's going to be the general direction of the attack, as Devaduvic and Amanek have not moved out of these positions. There's still 2 players on the B site, Twist and Nitro, playing Toxic Barrels and the pole in sight. It's going to really come down to Nitro to try and buy time for Twist to get off some shots from that op. There's the flashes and smokes leading them in. The molly right on top of Toxic Barrels. Nitro actually misses it at first, but it eventually lands right on the edge, barely on that molly. The smoke gives them a clue that there's a player here. Twists can't do much from behind the pole, but Nitro is still on the site. Stan is now supported from connector. Shazam hitting some crazy shots And it comes down to yet another close round of 1 versus 1, but he's never going to see this one coming. All Elige has to do is walk in from behind. But good God, it should have never gotten to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Shazam does a great job of still making it very expensive for Team Liquid. They were definitely going to win that round when it came down to the 1v1, especially considering the fact that Shazam really had to go for the plant there. There was only like 8 seconds left, I think, at the time of him actually going for it. So, doesn't work out for him. Loses out the round, but brings it down to 1 player again, and you can already see the immediate effects of that. Misfits, despite losing the last round, will have a better buy than Team Liquid in the upcoming one here, as Team Liquid does try to prioritize utility, and will end up with 2 umps as a result of that.
Well, this is what Misfits need here. Win this round, and again, you do some seriously punishing damage to Team Liquid's economy. You put them down to next to nothing. It's a double eco incoming. One would be a force buy, but basically next to nothing for Liquid. That would be a 7th round, and then potentially an 8th and 9th coming your way. So this round is pivotal for Misfits, but even if they drop the ball here and completely flub this second half, they've already done pretty decent work on their T side. I just don't think that's going to happen with the way that they've been winning rounds. Getting some progress moving in mid. They've pushed Elige back towards the bathrooms a bit more. He was playing the divider wall, but now he's falling back even further towards the water fountain and then heading back into the site as well. The team is grouped up towards the top of Connector. It seems like this is going to be a general A play right now. Shazam's watching for a push on long with that op. There's only 2 players here defending. JDM is back on long, and Elige is playing with that smoke in mid. He's got to be careful as there's a lot of players on the other side. If he gets caught when it's fading, he's going to be in a dangerous position, but he gets into the bathrooms just in time, and I believe he saw Sick cross as well. So he knows that there's a player along. I just don't think he realizes how many are on the other side of the wall. Oh, he opens fire. Now he's at risk. He's going to get 1, but JDM also picked up another over on long A. That definitely hamstrings things here for the T side as they try to now go back towards B. They're going to lose 1 more player in JDM, or in Amanek for that matter, who is in water. Shazam and Diva Duvek trying to work it up from B, but there's still 2 players remaining, and the clock has pretty much expired at this point. It's going to be up to Shazam to make a hero play yet again, and there's unlikely time for him to get a plant, as Twist is directly on top of him.
So finally, Liquid are getting things together here now, as it did take them a little bit, and it was actually looking like, you know, for a few rounds, Misfits was going to end up running away with this map, but they make it competitive after they get their feet onto the ground, and we end up 3-6. Still some room to go here, and at least this one last buy round to be able to break the Misfits, but at the very least, Liquid are finally showing up when we see some of the bigger players, like I was saying before, like Twist and JDM, coming in a little bit more consistently and making those bigger plays for the team to be able to push through and close out on these rounds.
Oh, Shazam doesn't even see Twist. Ollie was down, and Twist can see just above the flames, the smoke not masking his view as the op struggles to get the kill early on. Sean Garris, once upon a time, was a primary op. He's going to go ahead and pick it up himself, but it is a 5-on-4 and an early loss for Misfits that really stings. Shazam, really strong performer in the first series today, and doing so here as well. Top fragging right now at 12 kills. Losing him is going to be painful for Misfits. Still, though, they've got players setting up for what appears to be an execute towards B. There's going to be 3 bodies waiting for them there. Stan, Nitro, and also Twist, who's back behind the toxic barrels. He was ducking initially, but the smokes are coming out now, so it looks like they are committing themselves to this push. Molly deep towards the toxic barrels. Twist tries to take an angle for Catwalk. He gets spotted and now moves deeper in towards the monster canal. He gets blinded as well. But meanwhile, Stanislaw has picked up 1. Nitro with the ump manages to gun down 2 with the help of Elige. But Nitro meets his demise. Again, it comes down to 1 player and 1 player only. It's not Shazam this time, it's Amanek. He's in the pit, and that's where his body will lie. It's a 4th round for Team Liquid, as they have now found some success. They're getting things going. They're still costly, though.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the money's not really going anywhere at the moment for the CTs with these constant rebuys. The good news is, though, is that they finally were able to kind of whittle down Misfits. They have potentially a little bit of an easier round coming up here. There's going to be Tech 9s and Deagles on the side of Misfits, and not even everyone's going to have armor behind it either. Sean and Shazam specifically have to bypass that. Thing is, though, don't want to underestimate Misfits just yet. Specifically Shazam with the Deagle, as we have been able to see some very impressive stuff from him on that gun in the past, especially the past couple weeks. He's really been coming alive with it on some of these eco rounds, so there could still be room for quite a bit of damage to be done against Team Liquid.
Moving in towards A. They've got these Tech 9s in hand, and they're just trying to get there fast. They do take some nade damage early on. 6 actually going to pick up 1 onto JDM, but an immediate response from Elige, who finds 2 before meeting his end. They've managed to get the site control, though, and they've actually gotten a gun or 2 as well. Devo Duvek has the AWP. It's not his trusty gun, not the rifle he's used to, but it can still do some damage. Misses the initial shot. Looked pretty good, but it's Amanek who actually gets one, and Shazam's going to chime in with 2. And it's the Deagle of Shazam. Even though he didn't have the op, it doesn't matter. Misfits bring it right on back, and that one stings so much for Liquid, because we were just talking about how their money was not looking good. They were winning rounds, but winning them barely. And it's immediately back to a force buy for them.
Shazam has to bait the hell out of his teammate to be able to make that work, but he does show up with the Deagle, gets that nice double kill right at the end there, and closes out on the round for the Misfits. That's what we needed to see. That impressive Deagle work from him, and indeed, we see it. Of course, his teammates do a great job. And Team Liquid messed up a little bit, just lining right up for him, so it does make it a little bit easy, of course. But now, we're at a bit of a turning point here. The 1 round won, but they could just end up being reset again if they drop this one. However, Team Liquid not going to have the greatest buy in the world either. So there is a large chance that Misfits could follow through and reclaim the advantage again.
Don't want to fall into a trap of losing to an eco here. You've got so much control if you're Misfits. You're doing so well right now. Just be careful. Don't get caught off guard. More importantly, if you don't want that op, throw it away. They just leave it on the ground. So there is a potential gather up opportunity here for Liquid if they go after it. If they go after it. That's if they can even get towards it as well. As we've got one watching the flank, it's Amanek who's in mid. He's looking towards divider wall right now. He's not paying attention to connector. He's got to be careful. His smoke has just faded, and Elige has some firepower coming in from the flank. He's got the FAMAS, but it doesn't matter. He gets completely obliterated by Amanek's AK, and the site now is in control of Misfits. They've gotten the bomb down as well. They try to boost over, and it doesn't work. Sean Gares guns down the low man on the totem pole as Nitro meets his end, and now Stanislaw and Twist with no HP. It's a save. There's no reason to go for this one. Hold on to what you've got and hope for the next round.
Song Airs had that crazy spray down through the dumpster wall as well that pretty much killed this. I think most of the damage done to Twist and Stanislaw was as a result of Sean's spray, and he actually got one kill off the site take as well. So nicely done. It's going to push these two back, as you were saying, forced into a save, and indeed, Misfits will be able to hold control of their advantage going throughout the half, and possibly being able to push it even further now too. Not going to see either of these CT guns drop, so both of them should be able to carry it through into the next round. But where exactly does that leave the rest of Team Liquid in terms of their capability to buy? Pretty much non-existent. I don't think JDM, Nitro, or Elige are really going to be able to go for anything at all unless they decide to just kind of all-in force here. But I highly doubt they would do that.
It's looking really good for Misfits right now. Right, you just got to make sure you don't go towards the AK and the ump, depending on where they put it. Probably just going to be a stack, and that does appear to be the case. Liquid, they're just going with that right-in-your-face approach. Everyone playing up aggressively. Stan is in connector with his ump, and he's taking some molly damage. Got to be careful. Twist is hanging back with the AK. The rest grouping up on long. It's a similar setup to what we've seen in other eco rounds for them, with JDM playing close, Nitro behind the tree, and Elige back by bathrooms. So just kind of a lineup setup. In case the first guy falls, the other two are there to finish off what damage has been dealt. So JDM is playing anti-flash right now, just staring into the wall if you're wondering what that position is about. But it doesn't look like he's going to see a flashbang as of yet. Sean Garris actually throws a molly. Is that one from behind the tree? It is. I love the awareness right now from Misfits. They expected this play from Liquid. They knew exactly what the setup was going to be. So as a result, the last two players for Liquid are the ones with the guns, and they only get one kill on the round as well. Perfectly counterplayed by Misfits.
And with that, now they're really going to be able to take control off of that one, not dropping a whole lot there. Going into the 14th round, they're still going to have decent money left over for the final round here. Team Liquid, of course, do get themselves back into the full buy, but if they drop this one for yet another time, that it is going to leave Misfits to go up against pretty much just like a broken buy in the final round there, and that would make them look pretty good to be able to push on 11-4. We'll find out, though, of course, as the gun rounds have been pretty back and forth. No team has remained dominant on them for a majority of the half. And look at how aggressive Team Liquid's being all the way out towards Fountain. They're going to have the capability to easily challenge both Sick along with the other player that's sitting over here inside of the playground. However, Sick not only strikes for the first kill, tries to push on him, but he also finds Elige to follow it up. They know there's a third one here at Party, and he's kind of stuck. It's JDM, who doesn't even pay mind to the fact that Sick could still be out there, just falls back, and it lines up the headshot for Sick. So he ends up with a nice triple kill to start off this round. And it's not until right now that we see a response coming out from the CT side.
There's a nice shot from Amanek to drop Stanislaw on the site. At this point, if you're Twists, you're getting into position to maybe get a kill here. But at this point, the round is lost. And that op has way higher value than this round, because your next round is going to be awful. It's going to be pistol armors, probably some umps in play as well. I'm curious to see what they decide to do. If they decide to favor the umps, more than likely that's going to be the case. Elige actually goes down to an MP9, So they'll have a little bit of utility behind the SMGs, but what an absolutely fantastic first half from Misfits. You really can't fault them at all. Again, we said this was going to be their key to making this a 3-map series, because I do believe Cobble will go the way of Liquid. It's all going to come down to that third map, which is not a bad map for Misfits at all. I mean, it's Train. We've already seen them play it once today.
Now, let's start off on the last round here. Team Liquid working with all SMGs for that final round. Misfits are just going to take it nice and slow here, it would seem, since Team Liquid tried to get super aggressive in the last round. There's no reason why they wouldn't try to do it again in this round, even though their attempts at aggression back on round number 14 failed horribly. So it would explain why they are taking a much more passive stance here for the 15th round, keeping both Elige and JDM back, just hugging the bathroom walls, and the other 3 set up over towards B for a more kind of standard setup on their defense, with Misfits also kind of spreading out to investigate their options across the map.
To be careful if you're Misfits. Don't fall into a trap we've seen teams fall into too many times already today. Just burning that clock down too far, playing too pensively, too apprehensive, too tentative. Just assert yourselves, move into the site with confidence, because right now they are bleeding the clock, and it's starting to run dry. Sick finally moves past the smoke in mid. He's the lurk right now. The rest of the team is working this B bomb site. Sick likely to spot someone soon, but here comes the push into B. Twist is behind the toxic barrels with the ump. He's the big man. Nice flashbang in. He's having a hard time coming up with a kill. Meanwhile, JDM does take down Sick in mid, so no action there for the T side. They're dropping like flies as well, and more importantly, they can't get the bomb up. So now that clock, that time they wasted early on, is starting to bite them as they've come down to just one player. Amanek is in pit, and they're just going to overwhelm him. It's fantastically played from Misfits, or from Liquid for that matter. Misfits just kind of fell into a bit of a trap by wasting way too much clock. And then when they have to go to an execute, they are forced to run in there way faster than they need to, and they lose bomb, they lose control, and the round goes the way of Liquid.
Yeah, still though, 10-5 on the half overall. The turning point is going to be a few of those crucial gun rounds where we really did see Misfits move in and kind of take back control and break Team Liquid's economy. That's what allowed them to push forward, pick up those few extra rounds, and now gives them the big advantage jumping off of their T side. So the only question remaining is, do they have the capability to carry it through, or are they going to run into a lot of the same issues on the CT side that Team Liquid it just had, whether that's like uncoordination or just a few flub plays? We'll have to wait and see, but Misfits' core player base is looking a lot more tight-knit together at the moment than what we're seeing from Team Liquid, where you have only a few kind of star players showing up to the game at this point. Obviously, Misfits, being a little bit more warmed up, maybe that's helping them out. Team Liquid kind of just jumping into this match as the first one today. We don't know if they had any other like scrims or anything before this one to kind of get themselves heated up for this match, and a very important one at that.
Yeah, I mean, very important. If you're Team Liquid, you want to qualify for ESL Cologne. You can't come into this one cold. But at the same point in time, Misfits just looked like the way they were approaching the map. I go back to that, eco or anti-eco for Misfits when they had 3 players set up on long and 2 players coming in from mid with the rifle and the ump. They knew exactly what to expect from Liquid. It's also the second time we've seen it just in this map today between these 2 teams, that setup with an eco. So obviously, Misfits knew what to expect from Liquid in that situation. Like, hey, they're going to triple stack long, they're going to put a player white rock or close wall, they're going to put a player behind the tree, and one more is going to be in bathrooms. So they molly the tree, they flash over, they completely obliterate all 3 players within a second, and then it's down to just 2. It's that kind of awareness from Misfits that tells me they did their homework to a certain degree. It's like they knew they would be playing Liquid at this point. They had confidence in their first game against Splice. Coming into this one, though, it's obvious that they just know more about their opponent, and part of that could be playing against them in ESL Pro League, playing against them multiple times in other places as well, whereas Splice is basically just been competing in Premier. But a great first half for Misfits, one you can't necessarily brush aside. I want to say, oh yeah, Liquid, they're just warming up, but right now Misfits just looks like the better team, at least on this map.
No, I would definitely agree with that assessment. So once again, guys, in case you're wondering what the delay is here, we are just waiting for the players themselves to ready up. As soon as they check it, then we will be going live with the second half. So it's on them. And as soon as they have checked themselves up, we'll jump into it. But I mean, just looking at it overall here at some of the scores at halftime, assuming what we have on the HLTV scorebot is correct at this point, it's like I said before, it's like 2 players really kind of leading the way for Team Liquid at the moment. Twist and Stanislaw, JDM and Elige are down to 8 kills. We saw some good stuff from JDM overall too. But besides that, again, everyone else kind of falling flat in my opinion. Whereas for Misfits, we've seen relatively respectable plays from pretty much everybody on the team. I think the only one I haven't seen like a highlight from so far was Devo Duvek, but that's like one player out of the core roster, and Devo Duvek's scoreline is not necessarily lagging behind.
Yeah, and looking at the previous matches we saw today as well, we saw big performances from Sean Gares, from Amanek, from Sick, Shazam. Everyone was chiming in. Even Devo Duvek was there as well. Getting aggressive early on in the round is going to cost them 2 players. That's not really how they wanted that one to go. They're going to lose 1 more as well. So the heavy stack and connector doesn't work at all for Misfits. They're down to just Sick and Devo Duvek. Sick's going to have to hit some impressive shots from Catwalk. He struggles as Twist is flying through the air when he first peaks. Takes a little bit of damage, but he's got a nice one lined up for JDM. So like that, they come down to just a man advantage. So it's a now 3-on-2. Sick's even going to get 1 more from the same position. The man's barely moved, but he's lost control of the site. Devo Duvek has one thing going for him right now. He's got a smoke, and he's got a kit, and 2 players in front of him that are a little bit lit. And that rhymed. Wasn't on purpose.
And now Devo is going to try to sneak his way back into the site here. I think he's keen on the fact that there could be someone in pit, but Nitro is going to move out, go hunting, and Nitro's got such a bet. Oh, Devo swipes onto the headshot against Nitro, though, and now he's got a real chance of this. He's got a kit to play with, too, so has the extra timing. Elige just saw Devo. I'm not sure if Devo saw the opposite, though, and Elige will be able to position himself, ending the 1v1 in his team's favor, so Team Liquid can get right back into it as they close out the second half pistol.
Decent round still, all things considered, there by Misfits. I mean, that shouldn't even have been that way. If it weren't for Sick and the work that he had done, it would have been completely different. As it basically was just the B-bomb site and Sick was there alone. It still came down to a 1 versus 1, but Team Liquid get the round exactly what they needed. So here's a boost we've seen already before. Devo Duvek, Sean Gares, and Sick on a triple boost over the wall to peek in towards that short canal. Whoops. Devo, you got to back up a little bit there, bud. He backs up. Sick's got the ump on top, too, so this is a decent setup here. He can just slide right into the corner, and if they were to go this way, it would be devastating. But they're not. It's all for naught. They're instead working back towards A. The kill comes through with Amanek's Deagle. If he can pick up one more, maybe he'll cause some second guessing by Liquid. Maybe they will double clutch and go back towards B.
Well, Stanislaw is going to be able to pick up the first response kill, however, onto Almanac as he is caught pushing back out from long A. Shazam's still going to be here in a position with a Deagle, mind you. We already saw him go off once with this one, but it was a little bit easier last time as he had them both lined up and at close range. Now he's going to face off against Stan. Tags him once, looks for the second. That's going to miss. His teammate, which is supporting the push in from the bathrooms, is going to go down, so he finds himself in the open. And there you go. 3 quick kills for Team Liquid. That'll pretty much be the end of the round there. They should have no problem pushing up onto 7.
Unless Sean Gares does something crazy, which at this point seems unlikely. He's got a CZ 75. He's underneath the bank right now, looking to make a withdrawal. So he slowly works his way up towards the stairs. It's just a matter of time before he meets his demise. If he could take one with him, that would be ideal, and that's the plan right now. Hugging the corner, as it looks like most of Liquid has evacuated the site. There's only 2 players still here. If he had had a kit, maybe, just maybe. But Twist is still watching the bomb, and the other players are still within striking distance as well. So Sean Gares is actually going to go on the hunt for the man he heard dropping in underneath. It's JDM, but once Aim Punch takes over, there's not a lot you can do about it. He had a chance there, but it will be the round for Liquid, a 7th for them, and another save coming in for Misfits.
Save from Misfits here. And it's going to end up being their last one before we do get into the full buy round for them. More than likely, we'll end up with a scoreline of 8-10 unless there is another miracle round like we saw before when it was CLG versus Renegades and they somehow managed to win on a full eco. This time, though, at least they have 1 purchase coming in on Sean with a P250, and they're not stacking into the site with the right call on it. Like I believe it was Renegades that managed to pull that one off. We're able to get. So more than likely, you should expect Team Liquid to be able to walk over this round. We'll see how much damage the Misfits are able to do, if any at all. At the moment, just seeing Team Liquid go for a sort of leisurely stroll through long A and try and get themselves into that site relatively quickly. And they're not delaying this too much either. They're now trying to line up smokes just so they can kind of go through the motions here and be really safe about this. Almanac getting dinked when he tries to jump up from the bank to spot for that intel. So he's going to be pushed back relatively easy. Now, they did give time for pretty much everybody on the Misfits to rotate up to this site. That's still not making much of a difference, however. 1, 2, 3, 4 kills have already been claimed, and the last one is going to be found right now.
So just like that, that early lead cut down pretty quickly to just 2. And you're looking at that last round and you're going, okay, 11-4, 10-5. This score looks a little bit different. I know it's just 1 round, but it would give Misfits a little bit more to work with here. Shazam is going to be able to afford an op, but look at the buy coming in for the team. It's not fantastic. Sean Gears and Devo Duvek both forced to use a FAMAS. The smoke from Sean is going to land at the end of Monster Canal. If it gets there in time, though, that's going to be the question, as they were already grouping up to that area, but they've made it into water. Devo Duvek's got an aid prime. He's just got to be careful that he doesn't get popped by the players who were coming around the corner, as they look like they were pre-aiming that spot initially. Devo Duvek is going to be key to this defense, and unfortunately he gets caught while he's already spraying the door. Sick is going to help him out from the Monster Canal, though, and he picks up 2, allowing Devo to actually fall back and do a bit more damage from the cross. It's Elysian Twists who are looking at the sea of bodies around them, realizing mostly our friends, not our enemies. The bomb has made it at least close to the site. Twist is going to have to go into the pit to get it. Him and Elysian are on the other side of it. Devo gets 1 more on the round, so all things said, a pretty solid B-hold from him and Sick. But Twist is still here, and he's doing great damage with this ump. He's now opened up an avenue of attack towards this A site. It's just a 1 versus 1. It's Shazam moving into the site, and he gets spotted. It's a 4K for Twist with an ump. That was a 4 versus 2, down to a 1 versus 1. And if you're Misfits, those are the rounds you want back.
He had some amazing stuff in that round. Baits out his first opponent by going for the fake plant. That gets the sandbags guy out in the open, then pushes forward to find the second player on sidewalk, and then takes a nice slow duel, hops up behind the safe plant stack to get himself basically just at a headshot angle so he can close out on the last player even easier. Nicely done. Like, full situational awareness from him to make sure he's in the right position for all of those kills. Incredibly smart play from Twists. A little bit discoordinated, however, from Team Liquid on the hit itself. Like, for whatever reason, Stan comes out really late to Monster. I'm not sure if that was planned or if like, the call was just misjointed for some reason or something like that. But basically, they just rushed with however many it was, like 2 or 3 players right at the start outside of construction. It lets that cross spray setup that Misfits had just completely destroy that entire push. And even Stan, when he works his way out, gets taken down too. It's only after that they actually start trading out those kills, and obviously allows for Twist to have that huge clutch.
Down just 1 round now. What looked like it was going to be an easy victory on Overpass for Misfits is all but forgotten now for the CT side. They're realizing, okay, Liquid came here to play. Like you said, maybe just coming into this one a little bit cold, but now they've taken off the jackets as they're starting to sweat just a bit because they are red hot compared to their opponents, as Misfits have been stored in the freezer. Just a complete turnaround, a different team that we're seeing here. It looked like that last round should have been theirs, an easy round to take. Instead, it's back to pistols for them. Sean Garrison, the site with a CZ, throws the smoke down on long. There's a lot of people on the other side of that wall, and he's just going to go for the ninja play. Or is he? Look like he wants to hide in that smoke. He knows there's players on the other side of the wall. He's trying to play the map, but they're just waiting. Knowing that he's going to be in position, there's no sense in them pushing.
Well, Stan opens it up with the first kill and the second follow-up there against Sean, along with Shazam. Devo trying to do some work with the Deagle here now, but stuck at bank. And his teammate moving in only is a CZ, so not going to expect too much. Maybe 1 or 2 additional kills if Liquid get hungry. And, well, that's not necessarily getting hungry, just backing up a little bit too much. Right into a headshot angle for Devo Duvek to be able to punish that one. And looking to see what else they can do here. Again, low expectation to actually win the round, but if they can find a few more kills, they might be able to make a swing at it. Devo Duvek moving up. He just tagged JDM. They're focused much more on getting control of the full dice box area, though, instead of just actually picking up these kills here. As Sick moves out, though, he ends up going down. So now it's just Devo Duvek alive in this 1v3 scenario. Doesn't really have the capability to swing back out. So taking some pot shots here. Tagging yet another player. Trying to get this AK too, but there's no safe way to get it. He finally pushes his way in. Retrieves that AK. Now the question is, can he get far enough away in time? As he's hightailing it out of here, but nope. Not going to make it. And the AK does end up killing. The AK does go to the ground as the bomb kills him.
So 10-10 all tied up. That lead has completely evaporated. It's been squandered by Misfits. What should have been a sure victory, at least early on, the way they were playing, has slipped away. And now Liquid is taking control of the game from the T side, and Misfits is really struggling to hit their stride. At the very least, they've gotten the op and they've put it back in Shazam's hands. That's what we've seen from him in the past, is that it is very important that Shazam holds this. He's been pivotal to their defenses and their attack. And when they can't afford that op consistently, that's when they seem to suffer most. So he grabs the op, moves towards long. He's watching the push for White Rock. Meanwhile, on the other side, JDM has his op trained toward the same spot, just from a different angle, all the way back by T-spawn now. So we might see a fight between the 2 oppers for both sides. But as of yet, JDM hasn't really moved up too much. The rest of the team is back by B site and the bottom of connector. So He's just hanging back right now, watching to see if someone gets too aggressive and pushes past. We've got a 3-man setup on long as well with Amanek and one more in bathrooms. That'd be Shazam. And then they had Sean Garris, who was hanging back by the planter stack, but he's rotating off to go and support this B site because they are seeing some smokes and flashes coming over those walls, so they're anticipating a potential B strike here.
Well, out will go Team Liquid here to try and move in and take some of that control. Amanek tries to fight for it, but only ends up getting a little bit of damage on the Nitro, dropping him down to about a quarter of his health pool. Not sure if the damage he did to, if he did the damage to Twist, or if that was from another fight, but in the meantime, Stanislaw wins out another initial duel back over here on the B-bomb site. And taking down Sick there. It does pretty much open up the site fully, and it's not really going to leave any valid room for a retake here on the Misfits roster, so it is looking like they're already falling back to save here, as they just don't have a chance to get back in B. That take happened way too quickly and way too cleanly.
So it will be another save coming in here for Misfits, something that we saw consistently from Liquid in that first half, where they just lost site control so fast that they could not afford to play defense. At that point, there was no retake. It wasn't going to happen. Losing the guns was just too painful for them. So they don't even have a kit here. They've got limited utility. It's the right call if you're Misfits. The question is whether or not they can hold on to the guns, because they were pretty successful at stripping guns away from potentially saving players in that first half for Liquid. But it does look like they're going to get to grip them a little while longer. 3 players from Liquid really dinged up in the round, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, as Team Liquid has stolen the lead away from Misfits. I mean, this game hasn't been close for quite some time. Misfits has had control for the majority of it. So right now, Liquid is really feeling it. And Misfits, you got to be concerned about that second map now. This was your key. This was your way into this series. You can't drop this map, and you can't drop it after such a good first half either.
No, you cannot. So we're going to see some interesting stuff coming in here on the 7th round of the half. Elise specifically going with the SG purchase. Doesn't have the best start to the round, though, as he's pushed back outside of Monster. Seemed like he wanted to just rush in, and they're still going to follow up on that plan. Now it's Twist that leads the charge, however, as they are going for quick control here, and Misfits is kind of going to let them have it. They're in a bit of an awkward spot, positionally speaking, right now. Everybody over here towards construction. Sick looking away, but Sean gets that first kill. Now Sick can have a lineup, though. Misses his initial volley, swings over, and then back again to get those 2 kills. And now Devo Duvek back in the fray, but the nade is going to connect on his Sick while he's blinded. He doesn't realize it. Twist will take him down still, though. Twist set up in a 1v3 scenario, and he does not have control of the bomb currently. This once before that, he's immediately going to be able to pick up that first kill. Almost gets the second. Brings him down to 4 HP, but Shazam does hit the headshot to close out on the round and keep things close. Now, that is the first round in this half that Misfits have been able to win out, by the way. But indeed, it does allow them to tie it up at 11-11.
I thought for a second we'd see a flashback there with Twist in the B site with an AK in hand. It seemed like it was possible. But Misfits finally get something going here on their CT side. It's taken them a bit of time. 6 straight rounds for Liquid before finally Misfits gets one. The concern here is that 3 players have next to no money. Sean Cares has a little. Shazam is the only one who's sitting on a decent amount of cash. If Liquid can win this round, Misfits are in a serious amount of pain. They would get full reset, and it wouldn't be the first time we've said that in this series, that a team gets full reset. We've seen the effects it can have. A double eco would likely follow. Shazam might be able to do something with pistols to at least give him more to work with, but even still, realistically, he should just sit on that cash as he is the AWPer to guarantee that presence will be there in the buy round that follows. But at that point, you'd be 12-11, 13-11, 14-11 before Misfits is able to buy again. Things are just getting really sketchy right now. If you're Misfits, you're getting seriously concerned that this game that looked like it was in the bag has since been removed from the bag and put back on the shelf, as Liquid have not surrendered this game over as of yet. Still at 5-on-5 strength with 45 seconds left on the clock. Just a minor amount of damage dealt to Devo Duvek, and the clock is continuing to tick lower and lower. Liquid have to be careful that they don't fall into the same trap we saw Misfits fall into in that first half. And Amanek might have a big play here as well. Pushing up on long. He's got 2 bodies right in front of him. That's a great move from him as Nitro and Elise are caught with their pants down.
Perfect timing on the push, too. They were trying to get Prep to push in themselves, but he strikes back, and for whatever reason, one of them ended up flash. I'm not sure if there was a team flash that ended up going on or self-flash from one of the members of Liquid. They do end up partially blinded when he actually makes that play. Speaking of blinded, well, that's going to be what Sean is, but he's given plenty of time to recover and to pick up the trade kill on his Stanislaw after he eliminates 6. 4v2 now. The last two trying to push back in, but Sean just sees them and absolutely destroys them. Twist doesn't even realize that Sean is up that close, so he's finished off from the backside. As Misfits do close out, get themselves a 12th round, take the lead again, and also close out in a relatively clean fashion, only losing 1 player, which is great for them in the long run if they can keep it this way. Team Liquid still have the bye coming up here, though, and now they have a double op setup for the T side.
Well, I mean, double op setup. We'll see if it's going to be successful. Usually it's a little bit better on the CT side, but I'm interested to see how they position these ones. JDM immediately goes for the headshot angle over the smoke, but instead it's Amanek who just sprays through the smoke as it blooms and gets an early kill on that primary op. Elige is at least going to balance things out by returning the favor to the primary op for Misfits, but this round could cost Liquid quite a bit by going for that double op setup. Still, though, they hold on to 1, and realistically speaking, that's all they need moving forward. The double op was kind of risky in its nature. Sean Gares and Amanek now moving back towards long as most of Liquid is grouped up around the fountain, wanting to toss some quarters in there for some good luck, and they might need it as Misfits might come alive here and pose a serious threat to the comeback from Liquid. There's 2 players playing towards B. They're not really going to experience much of anything as of right now, as Liquid are just walking up mid-bathrooms looking to take this A site without taking a fight, and they will. The 2 players holding A right now are both right next to each other over towards the long A area. Amanek is even just hiding in the corner playing anti-flash.
Well, now Team Liquid are going to get ready to move back in and execute onto this site. Amanek not wanting a piece of any of this right now. Still just holding in a fairly safe position at the edge of long. In fact, I don't even, Alicia's not even going to be expecting him sitting on that side. You don't often see the player hugging that position. So Lige gets knocked out relatively quickly. Now you have Sean coming in on the flank that will get traded out quickly now by Stan. And a great position from Nitro prevents Devo Duvek from having any effect. Kind of an intuitive play, but it works out great for them as now Stan's able to push in, pick up a second kill zone. And now it's all on Amanek to try and clutch this out 1v2. Smoke has already gone over the bomb. Look at this play he's trying to make, though. He's going to try to get aggressive outside of the smoke, creeping forward, finds Stanislaw. There's 1 more to go, but he needs to be aware of the fact that Nitro is still right up in his face right now. Jumping onto the bomb, he does not have the full 10 seconds to defuse the bomb anymore anyway. And Nitro will just close out on him anyway, tying us back up at 12-12.
Misfits, I mean, there's still some money left, but it should be at least a partial save. It looks like they're just going to go full buy. They're going to force up everything they've got. I mean, look at it. It's a CZ75 bookended by umps, an M4 on one end and the op on the other. I mean, that's Shazam's bonus cash, the extra amount of money he had. And feeling the pressure, he wants to make a move early on. Goes aggressive right towards the stairs. Double nade at his feet, and he decides to fall back. It's not worth taking a fight, and it's a good thing he didn't. Elige was right around the corner waiting for him. It would have been an immediate trade out, and one that definitely hurts Misfits way more than it hurts Liquid. They can afford to lose that op because they've still got a couple of rifles in play and at least 1 op, and they can also swap that op out for the op. The other side can't afford to have that op fall that far out of the fray. Amanek is pushed up on long. If he plays this one right, he might be able to get a backstab kill onto JDM, who's holding right now, waiting for the push, but JDM just fell off. Amanek still hasn't moved. Sick at the bottom of connector with the CZ75. He hears the dropping steps in the connector. It's going to come down to whether or not that magazine in his CZ is going to be deep enough to at least get 2 kills here on these players coming through. Decides to throw a smoke down, and he's got backup here from Devo Duvek.
I feel like Amanek missed his chance, however. He's way too disconnected from all of the action. He can definitely still have effectiveness, but he's going to need to actually read this situation properly and then try to flank towards like connector to be able to do that, because right now Sick on the outside. The good news is they did smoke that off, so it's going to delay things even further. But in a moment, Team Liquid aren't really going to care about smokes in there anymore. They need to get onto this site as they're low on time. But this is not a bad setup at all for the Misfits here. And we can see Amanek slowly start to flank back around. He's definitely going to be a late addition to this play. But if they can sustain and turn out a few kills here, then they're going to be in good form. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They don't even need the flank as Misfits just shut it down.
Sick did so much damage there, too, with his CZ. He kills the first one. I think he dinked the second, and he dinked JDM when he was down to just 4 bullets. 4 or 5 bullets in his CZ75. So great work from the player who was playing Cat. I thought that maybe Amanek would work party and peek down connector because, you know, Sick had heard them. He knew that there was at least a presence there. But he goes for the long flank instead. ends up being a non sequitur. He's really not a part of the play at all. It was really Sick, the player who first heard them in the beginning. But Amanek makes up for that. He gets aggressive on mid early on, gets stuck on the wall as he tries to get out of there, but he barely escapes around the corner. Shazam is there. Had they gone for the chase a little bit further, they could have suffered more casualties. Amanek sees them boosting up and over, and it's another kill for Misfits here as Liquid are starting to crumble underneath the pressure. It looks like it could be a 14th round, but we've seen guaranteed quote-unquote rounds for Misfits go the way of Liquid in the past.
Yeah, Nitro and Stan just trying to make the best of a bad situation at this point since it's 2v5. More kills they can get, the better. They can also just actually wait this out a little bit too and try to discuss the next round. They're going to be broken is like the real issue here. So they're basically going to have no choice but to try and let Misfits go up to 15 unless they want to try to force it again. But that second round losing bonus plus like about $125 or $150 on average for each player here. So it's really not going to be that great if they do try to go for it here. Nitro, like I said before, just trying to maximize the damage. He already did lose Stan, so it's just him alone now at 10 HP. It looks like he's trying to fall back here and sit in the bathrooms. Hopefully to wait the timer down, but I don't think that's a real possibility considering the amount of players stacked around him currently.
Amanek wants to get the 3K. He thought he had more kills in that last round when he went for that full flank and caused Misfits to stack that B bomb site knowing that there was no one anywhere else on the map. But deep inside, he wanted the kills. He felt like they were his. So now he's trying to make that happen, and he's going to get himself a nice little 3K here on the mid push. First taking down JDM, who went for a boost, and a few more as well. So Misfits now get their 14th round. Team Liquid have no money. This is usually when you see a team call for a timeout, but we're not going to see one from Liquid as of yet. So they're content to just play on through. They're going to go into pistols, and they're going to give Misfits potentially that 15th round. And then it'll be a matter of fighting for overtime, in which case they'll have 3 rounds of loss bonus coming into this one. So a bomb plant would definitely help to boost things just a little bit further, that extra $800. And we'll see if they're going to be able to get it. The team is grouping up together to work towards long, and it looks like they're just going to charge towards the A site and hope to God they can get that bomb on the ground.
Well, it's a rush here from Team Liquid over to the site, but Shazam is actually no, they divert. So hold on, Shazam's not going to be able to see anything just yet. It's actually going to need to be like Amanek to be able to spot this. Since Team Liquid do end up going down inside of the toilets to try and send themselves out through that direction. Basically trying to keep this obscured for as long as possible. And that's actually going to be right up until they start this push. Oh, that nade would have been so much better served going over towards bathrooms. But look at Shazam anyway. 2, 3. Oh my goodness. They just get absolutely destroyed. Shazam finds himself dead, but not before he picks up 2 additional kills. And he's still sitting at 8,200. So he has absolutely no problem rebuying into this next round. Neither will Team Liquid, however, but this is their last hurrah. They lose out here. The map goes to Misfits, and they start off the set 1-0.
This is feeling like a revitalized Shazam, one we haven't seen since maybe the small period of success we saw for Conquest, the team that eventually became Optic at Sevolan, I think it was, when they were able to beat a couple of European opponents. That was the last time I remember seeing Shazam play and being like, okay, wow, Shazam is really on form right now. He went on to play with teams like Echo Fox, where they really struggled, and I can't even put all the blame on him for that one. But in general, I just don't feel like his play was the same as what we grew to expect in his past play. But he's looking pretty consistent right now for Misfits, and he's been pivotal in so many of these rounds. They do lose a player early on. Amanek drops as he went aggressive on long and tried to feel out a little bit further than he needed to. So now that's going to put the pressure on Shazam, who's playing solo A with his AWP. He's positioned to watch a push into the mid bathrooms, but everyone's on the other side of that wall, kind of hanging back by the dividers. The bomb is grouping up with them as well, so it is a matter of time before Shazam's going to get pushed, and I think they're starting to realize that. Misfits has 3 players feeling out B. They've pushed into water. The smokes now are a dead giveaway. Shazam's got to make a move, throws down the molly, and retreats behind the smoke by Truck. He's going to have to wait for his team to get in position. This is going to be a retake.
Shazam just trying to fire in through the smoke, but that is going to give his position away. They can try to lurk through and take him on now, but it's not looking like anyone. Nice, actually, tagging him there, and he almost responds back with one of his own. Oh, finally hits the shot through the smoke. It's a Liege that goes down this time. They do have a flank working its way in from Sick, but there's players in great positions to watch out for this. However, JDM is the one found in the open, so Sick can still punish at least one player on this flank. All of a sudden, we're down to a 4v2. Scratch that, make it a 3v2 as Nitro finally kills the flank, but leaves himself in the open. Shazam does the same thing, though, in pushing himself out here. So this is going to get dangerous. Now down to a 2v2, a 1v2 for Shazam. So he lagged there for a second. And the time getting very low here. It's looking like Team Liquid may have called the storm and kept themselves in the game, but that's not going to stop Shazam from doing massive damage on the way out. In fact, I think he's doomed Stan as well. He's not going to make it outside, so he also goes down. The only one left standing at the end of the day is going to be Shazam, but more importantly, Team Liquid, they won out the round. They withheld, so now it goes 15-13, and Team Liquid survive. Just 2 more needed to take us to OT.
It's a full wipe, though, for Liquid. Look what it does to them. I mean, yeah, they can afford a few AKs, but, you know, 1 or 2 players are going to be forced to buy an ump. JDM is going to be the one who's kind of put on the skewer right now as he's rocking that UMP. The AKs for everyone else. We'll see if they're able to find success here, because it's still a really strong buy coming in from Misfits. It's not weak from them. And they've got plenty of utility to try and delay this one, and that's a huge loss. Right off the bat, Stanislaw goes down. No trade-out opportunity. They're going to go right through this smoke, right into Sick. He's going to get 1, make it a second, make it almost 3. But in the end, it will come down to just Twists. He's on the other side of the smoke they pushed through early on in the round. There's 4 bodies in front of him, and there's so many nades landing at his feet. He's trying to throw his own just to get out of this position, and he's not sure where these remaining players are. He knows they're swarming the site. He's gathered up the bomb, and he's got some clock to work with, but no HP left. Devo Duvek closes the game out for Misfits, so they do take the first map. After struggling a bit, Liquid made it close, but in the end, Misfits still come out on top.
Somewhat anticlimactic end there on that last round after we saw the round before it being played out, but indeed it does go by the way of Misfits. So they're going to be leading this set, ladies and gentlemen. The second map is not too far away. As soon as the players are set up for it, we'll be going live. So stick with us and we'll have more right here from the ESL One Cologne 2017 North American Closed Qualifiers.